Welcome to the Echo Sportscast.
I'm Paul McLean.
And I'm Dave Dale. Today we're interviewing Tyler Mullan. He's at Queens. He's a football toe, making his way into the national rankings. Welcome, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you're off to another good season, it looks like.
Yeah, good start to the season. I've always, since my first year, I've been trying to do that again. So
yeah, well, you've had an interesting time to be at university, kind of post-COVID, really. It's how has that affected your academically? Is just trying to get back into the swing of university, or what was it like when you first started there?
it was definitely a bit of a wake up call. I mean, I guess all three of my senior years at high school were kind of right in that COVID era, and that was a time where you could kind of just do nothing and still get good marks. And so coming to university, especially university like Queens, I mean, just the change in academics and having football for 5-6 hours a day, and then having to do your assignments on top of that, and it was a huge wake up call. And I'm glad I stayed for my fifth year of high school. It kind of matured me and gave me an extra year of to prepare. But it was definitely a wake up call and a big switch, coming here. And
Tyler, going back to your high school days, and we this podcast really trying to focus on NDA, athletics. Talk about the fact that you had to switch schools, going from Whitfield with the closing, and then having to start at Ferris. How did, in the midst of everything else, how was that for you?
it was a bit weird because growing up, my dad was the head of athletics and football coach at Whitfield. So that's kind of how I got introduced to football. I would always walk over to Whitfield and watch his practice, or I would actually kick at his practices. That's kind of where I learned to kick a football too. But so I loved Whitfield. I loved, I wanted to go to school with my dad and my brother. So I went there in grade 9, and I loved it. And growing up, it's kind of funny now, but I was always, it was kind of just burned into me that you didn't like the Scollard Bears. But grade 9, the announcement came that it was going to close, and all of my buddies that I grew up playing hockey with and different sports with, they all went to Scollard. So when that announcement came, it was kind of the clear option to go. And after I convinced my dad to let me go.
And that's right. Sorry, I totally messed that up. Your dad went to teach at Ferris. You went to play at Scollard.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was another layer to that whole story.
And you were able to kick a winning field goal, right?
Yeah. That was one of the probably one of the moments I'll remember forever. Grade 11, my brother was in grade 13, so that was his first year playing football. He was a big volleyball guy. So he was playing on Whitfield. My dad was coaching, and it was a tight game going into the fourth, and you kind of get those feelings as a kicker, like when it's tight near the end, you're like, all right, this could come down to me. And so I kind of did that. My brother got injured that game too, pretty badly, so that wasn't too good. But I remember we got the ball, started driving up the field, and I'm like, all right, this is probably gonna happen. And then got in field goal range, went out there, did my steps back and my steps over, and the whistle came in and he iced me. And So I just stayed out there and, you know, came back, and then kick that game-winning kick, and I've yet to kick one in university, but that one felt pretty good.
What talk to us about the role of the kicker and being on the field, and what's that like, having to be ready at a moment's notice and not knowing if you're always going to have to go in, or how do you prepare mentally for that?
I mean, when the offense gets the ball, I'm always just by my kicking net the whole game. I usually just stand there, and the guys are kind of more central to the bench, and I'm kind of alone there, just alone in my thoughts, kind of just visualizing and waiting for my time. But it's about when they get to midfield, I usually start doing some warm up kicks on the net, just trying to get my good contact on the ball. And then once I, just feel I've had enough warm up kicks, I'm good to go. Put my helmet on and just kind of wait. And I'm always in that that mental processing from about from the start of the game. I like to just get mentally prepared well before the game. We're pretty good. My kicking coach, we love doing just like visualization work, which I find really helps. Kicking especially, because we got the same job to do. It doesn't change, so it's pretty easy thing to visualize. Just getting those reps in, those mental reps, and I know when I go out there, to kick a field goal, I made that same kick hundreds of times, and I got to go out there and do my job.
And as far as teammates go, do they is there superstition and they're afraid to be around you, or they don't want to interrupt your process? And is that part of why they leave you alone and keep you on your own space?
No, nothing like that. Some of the guys will, just come up to me, or, if one of the guys goes make a play, I'll, get in the mix a little bit. But sometimes, because I'm just on the far end of the bench, and when the play comes down, the whole bench starts moving down. So I have to, sometimes I'll have to tell the guys to get out of the way, but no, they're pretty good.
Is being a kicker, well, I'm not sure if you can compare, but it sounds like it's almost like a goalie sort of position where you're in your own space there, you got your own bubble.
Yeah, for sure. I like the goalie in hockey, and yeah, they're very they're very just not like anything else on the field or on the ice. We kind of just have one job to there's to stop the puck, and I just kick that ball through the post and kick it on kickoffs where it needs to be. So it's a little different in my preparation compared to everyone else, obviously, but I'm just trying to go out there and do my job just like everyone else is on the field.
Maybe give us a little bit rundown on how the team's done so far this year, and what you think, how they look compared to previous years for you. What's your record? Who have you beat?
We lost our first game against Windsor, and then we beat Mac. We just beat Guelph this week. We went and beat Ottawa. I think we're 4-1. I might be missing a game, but yeah, we're 4-1. Tied for second or third in the league. We're a hungry group this year. We got a lot of guys returning, and this kind of core group of guys is they went to the Yates Cup the year before I was there. We went to the Yates Cup in my first year and lost. We lost to the Mustangs in the Yates Cup semi last year, so we're just kind of tired of losing to that team, So yeah, we got a hungry group of guys that, worked hard all summer, all off season. Um, and yeah, we're a physical team. Um, our defense is unbelievable. Um, our offense, our offense is very good too, very talented. A couple of injuries, um, but yeah, we're just hungry. Our Coach Snyder is one of probably the best coach I've ever had in any sport. Just he knows how to get a group of 100 guys all towards the same goal, and just to see that 100 guys on a football team. I was used to like 20, 30, on a football team. So when you see 100 huge just football players, all coming together, working towards the same goal, it's pretty special.
Speaking of coaches, your dad and Mike O'Shea, longtime friends, and obviously I'm sure he's been a big part in your life. What's that like, having someone, a CFL coach with all of Mike's accomplishments and stuff, being somebody that I'm sure you've had lots of conversations with? What sort of insight and guidance has he been able to give to you?
I honestly haven't talked to him much myself. I remember when I was a kid, I was at his wedding, which is pretty cool. I get to tell people that, but um, my dad, I haven't talked to him much personally. My dad will text him here and there, and Mike will text him to check up on me, see how I'm doing this year, and um, but no, I haven't really talked to him much personally in the last couple of years. I guess I've just been letting him focus on his CFL team there.
Tell us about your stats yourself, your rank nationally, and how's that compared to your other years?
Right now I'm 8 for 9. I missed one field goal in Ottawa. I have a long of 45 this year. Um, I think that puts me first in the OUA at the moment, and I'm fourth or fifth in U Sports. There are a couple guys still with 100%. Yeah, I'm so first year. I wasn't really. I wasn't supposed to be the starter, and the guy who was got injured in our exhibition game, so it kind of pushed me into the spot. Excuse me. I'm not sure I was ready for it at that time, but didn't really have a choice. Um, but no, I did really well, and ended up going 100% that year. They didn't put me in any very long situations, but the role of the kicker is just to go out when they ask you to and do what they need you to do. So I did that pretty well.
Well, you had an amazing first season. Was there a part of not knowing what you didn't know? Did that come into play at all? And maybe now looking back, do you have a even greater sense of what you accomplished in that first year?
Yeah, I think so. It was kind of just like I started 4 for 4 in my first game, and I remember the equipment manager. He me and him didn't get off to a hot start because I like to wear my knee pads over my knee, and he hates that. Um, but I remember he pulled me in after and gave me the game ball. He's like, man, I've never seen a rookie kicker come in here and go 4 for 4 like that. And I didn't. It was kind of just like I was 18, 19 years old, just meeting all these new people. Kind of playing some real football for the first time, and didn't really hit me. And then I think I went 4 for 4 again the next week, and it just kind of just kept going. And then by about our second last game, I'm like I might, I didn't want to talk about it, but in my head I was like, man, I might, I could do this perfect season thing. And then ended up doing it. perfect season, and then I wasn't even thinking, like, didn't even occur to me that I'm gonna be OUA rookie. I'm gonna be a OUA first team. Um, and then I remember I went to our dining hall, was walking back, and Coach Snyder calls me. He's like, "Ty, you're an all Canadian." I was like, "Holy jeez," like I was just a kid from North Bay who didn't think he was gonna start, and now this, and that kind of played some tricks with my mind actually in second year, but just coming off that, and you think you're invincible, and then first game, missed a couple kicks, and I'd still did pretty well that year, but I think I had one game I went like 0 for 3 or 1 for 4. It was a tough, windy day at Richardson Stadium, but that the second year was a good learning year. Just how to just be more mentally tough, and don't get too high, don't get too low. Just kind of do what you need to do.
When did you know that you wanted to pursue kicking in the OUA? Like, what happened in your NDA career? Where did a light go off? And how did you get to Queens?
So yeah, like I said, it really started on my dad's kind of football practices. I grew up playing soccer with Scott Rive. He grabbed a group of the guys from our hockey team and made a soccer team. So I was always pretty good at soccer. I could always boot the ball pretty far, and then I would just kick the ball around at my dad's practices. And then when I eventually started playing, I would always be the kicker. And then I think in 10th grade, I'll never forget this at football practice. Terry Vendetti was our coach, and we're just in the middle of practice, and practice is going on. Everyone's kind of doing their little indie drills, and I'm just in the middle of the field, just kicking field goals. And I think he backed me up to like 42-yard line. And I was in like 10th grade, and I just kicked it through. And he's like, "Man, you gotta try and do something about this. Like, you could go play university football." And I was like, yeah, okay. And I think my dad um, kind of reached out. We went to a Western football camp towards the end of my 10th grade year with AJ Williamson, and that's where we met Daryl Wheeler, who is the coach, the kicking coach at Western. And he runs these like kicking kind of camps, kicking academy called Coach Kick, and that's where all the youth work guys come from. So I started working with him. I started working with Liram Haralahu, and it wasn't really until about mid 11th grade where I kind of was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Because I was planning on going to Nipissing, going in the BPHE program like my brother, and but I think Queens started recruiting me later on in my 12th grade, and I actually had to come back for my 5th year and take all these physics and calculus classes to get into Queens. So that was also part of the reason I returned. But yeah, I didn't really start taking it seriously till a bit later. It was just kind of a natural talent, I guess, which definitely stemmed from playing soccer for most of my years growing up.
What are you taking in university? Just curious, academically.
I started off, I was going to take a Bachelor of Science in Biology. That was kind of a bit too tough. I realized pretty quickly in that first year that I was here for football. Um, but no, I'm going in. I switched into economics. So I'm majoring in economics. Um, Pretty good with math and with numbers. So but I'm trying to hopefully, excuse me, hopefully I can just keep kicking footballs for a long time.
So what games you have coming up? And I wanted to ask you about the one you missed in Ottawa, and what was the circumstances of that? And does a miss like that sort of pry on your mind a little bit? Prey on your mind?
Yeah, like a little bit, but that's the whole thing with being a kicker is, you just can't let it. And I think being a kicker is, 60% mental, honestly, 40% physical. You can, you know, you've made most of those kicks, like I said, hundreds of times in practice. Like there's no doubt that when the coach puts you out there, you can't make that kick, and you know that. But things do go wrong, and if you miss one, you kind of just got to stay steady and reset, reset your mind, reset your attitude. There's nothing you can really do about that kick. It's the next kick, and if you let it kind of linger in your mind, it's only going to make things worse, and you might miss your next one, and then it gets worse. So you just kind of got to throw it out. Whatever happened, and it's on to the next one.
I do want to know the circumstance of the Ottawa one and whether it was a consequential miss.
No, we were beating up on them pretty good. So, they didn't. It doesn't really matter that I missed that one, but for me it does. But in the game sense, we had a very good game that game, and it was a 42-yarder from the left hash. I missed it. It was about a ball width wide of the left upright. I kicked it pretty good. Landed right at the back of the end zone. I didn't get the rouge, but it was a good kick. Just pulled it a little bit left.
Are there any teams coming up that you're playing that you're really looking forward to playing or beating?
Yeah, for sure. We're headed to London, Ontario, in about 24 hours. Going to play the Mustangs on Saturday. It's homecoming. Probably be about 15,000 people there. Hopefully the weather stays nice so all the kids don't leave. But and then we go to Laurier. We're at Laurier, so we got two of the toughest games in our schedule, two of the biggest weeks coming up, and then we're we are going back home for our homecoming. We play Waterloo, which will be a little bit easier. But
what's the date of the Waterloo one of your homecoming?
I think it's October 25th. We have a bye week after Laurier too. I think it's the 25th of October. But I'm excited for the game at the Mustangs with all those people. It was kind of the same. We played in their welcome back game, their student game, in my first year, and I think that was my third game ever, and there was 14,000 people there, and I remember I came out early, me and the other kicker, a little bit early before the rest of our team did, and I was just sitting on the bench, and it was their grandstand behind our bench was all students, all just drunk students, and I was out there. I was just kind of getting the water bottle, putting my stuff by my kicking net, and like a big section of the student section, my number is 42, and big section, I just started chanting "F you 42," and they're just they're screaming at you, they're swearing at you. They they're throwing food at us, throwing hot dogs, throwing oranges. My parents were sitting back there, and they were getting, the finger. They were getting sworn at. So it's a very cool environment to be a part of, and I always say I kind of like the away games and like that atmosphere of people don't like you, but let's go and shut them up and wave goodbye to them on the way home, and so I always like going in there and kind of being the bad guy, I guess.
Well, the challenge is on, I guess. Right on.
I like that.
Yeah, good competitive nature. So we're going to wrap it up. It was a good conversation. We're looking forward to being able to run this as part of our Sportscast for high school coverage and also other coverage. Any last things you would like to share with the viewers as far as your memories in North Bay and what you want to do to represent us going forward?
I don't know. I always love coming back to North Bay whenever I get the chance. Some of my favorite memories are from there, and I'm happy I can almost be a role model and an example of someone who can go play OUA football and OUA sports coming to the North Bay. And I think for any kid watching this who wants to go play football and youth sports, I think the biggest thing is don't fall in love with the end picture, which is playing youth sports football. You gotta fall in love with the process, and what are you doing each and every day to make that your reality? Are you doing what you got to do in the classroom? Are you putting good things on tape, and just being a good role model, good person? And so fall in love with the process.
I just want to say thanks and wish you luck on the rest of the season, and hopefully that Yates Cup is in your future. Yeah,
Yates Cup, and we're hosting the Vanier Cup again for the second year in a row. So it's a big year. We got some big goals, and hopefully we'll see them through. And thanks for having me.
Well, you might pick up some more Queens fans here, so that's
yeah, hopefully.
Maybe not in this room, but maybe.
Yeah.
Right on. Thanks again for taking time. Appreciate it.